My name is David Yan, and here is my introduction to D3. So as you can see, I've included my GitHub repo, so you can either go through the presentation on your own time, or you can look at the starter code. Alright, so what is D3? So D3 stands for Data-Driven Documents and is a JavaScript library used for producing dynamic, interactive data visualizations within your own browser. Its focus is to allow programmers to modify CSS properties given DOM nodes. It was created by Mike Bostock and Jeffrey Heer. And this is obviously very important because Jeffrey Heer is a professor at the University of Washington, which I am currently a student at. So if you want to learn more, go ahead and follow the link here I don't have a cursor, but follow the link here to D3's official website. So why would you want to use it? So as a programmer, D3 gives you immense power over how your framework looks and feels and how your users interact with it. So essentially, it's a very versatile. And it's also great for whenever you have to share your data with users through a front-end interface. So a lot of people decide to use D3 whenever they have large amounts of data or even small amounts of data and they want to format it properly and make it look pretty. So why wouldn't you want to use it, right? So D3 has a very high learning curve and it's harder to pick up than other libraries. And also, from what I've noticed, if you haven't learned HTML, CSS, and JavaScript and you think, wow, this is a really great library, I want to learn it, probably not the best idea because when you do learn D3 and then you learn HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, along your path to learn D3, you might end up with a very limited mindset thinking that, is HTML, CSS, JavaScript can only be used in one way and one way only. However, I believe that if you learn D3 after learning, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then learning other libraries for JavaScript, so forth, this will give you the choice of, when to use D3, when do you want to use other libraries, or when do you just want to use native JS. Also, D3 is a very time-consuming language, and it can definitely be overkill for your current project. So always keep that in mind: is how much time do you actually have to make it look pretty? All right, so let's get started then. So first of all, you want to get D3, okay? And so this would be one of three things. So either you want to download and unzip the latest version of D3 from their website. This is going to be version 4.4.0, or you want to add the script, which is the web address to D3 Online, or I've also included it within my repo, my GitHub repo, so you can even go there and then grab the folder. Alright, so a few quick notes. To actually run D3 code, we have to run this on a server. So I'm going to be doing this through the command line using Python. Here's the example of the Python code I'm running. So we're going to be running simple HTTPS server with the M option on port 8888. All right, and then two quick things. So two really important, commands that will be within D3 that I'll be using, and then this is very important, is selection data, and this is used to bind data to DOM objects, and I'm going to be using d3.select, and then so you either select a tag name or you select all the tag names, and this allows us to target specific tags and manipulate their CSS. So here are my resources if you were interested. So cool, let's move over to Visual Studio Code. Okay, so Visual Studio Code, this is Google Chrome, and then so first of all, I'm going to pull up my my website right now. This is currently my skeleton. I'm going to pull up my website just so you can see what it looks like. So currently I have this. Is it running? Cool, it's running. And then let's say localhost 8888. Alright, cool. So obviously a very, very basic HTML. There's nothing really to see here, nothing really to comment about. But one thing I did want to say is using the select all method. If we wanted to do something, if we wanted to see an action, for example, what we can do is open up the console, and then actually we can type in console.log. Let me type Alright, cool. So this returns, so console log prints it out, and then D3 obviously the library, and then we want to select everything with the tag P, paragraph. And if you look at the code, very basic as well. We just header, we have metadata, and then we import in JavaScript right here, and then in our body is just a few P tags, just a few paragraph tags. And so when we say select all the paragraphs, this returns to us an object, and just looking at the groups, this returns us a list of 5 objects, which, whoa, lo and behold, we have 5 paragraphs. Wow, it's amazing. So each of these paragraphs is represented as its own object, and then you have a lot of data and information regarding that object. And there's going to be 5 of them in case you're interested. But anyways, I just want to show that to you, just to show you how select all works. If I didn't use select all, just use normal select, it would have instead just grabbed the first instance of, in this case, a paragraph. Alright, so let's play with some actual visualizations then. Okay, so if we say let's make a bar chart. Okay, so if I go into my script, and I know this is terrible style, but just for the sake of simplicity, I'm gonna put my styling within my HTML folder. So we're gonna say so style, /style, and then we're gonna say we're gonna just call this a chart, and then div. And so the interesting thing about D3 is most of, from my experience, all my graphs and all my charts are put into div files. And the reason for this is because div files obviously, div containers obviously can be modified using CSS properties, right? And this works perfectly with D3 because D3 latches onto these these IDs and these classes and changes the CSS properties to make it look pretty, right? So a div is a very easy way of helping us achieve this. So let's say, for example, let's make a chart. Let's say, for example, font, make that 10 pixels, maybe sans serif. Okay, let's do a background color, and I will put in the actual div very soon. Let's do steel blue, for example. Nice color, text align. Let's pick right. Maybe add in a few pixels of padding, 3px. Some margins maybe, and then let's do a color as well. So color is white. Okay, and then we go into our body, and then we actually say maybe div, and then class is equal to chart, because that's what we called it back up here. We called it the class is chart. Okay, and then we specify the items within our div. So let's say we have a we do div, and then we have to give it a style, and for D3 understand something like a width, right? Because it understands that it's a bar chart, or it's a chart. So if you just give it width attribute, and then you can say width is equal to, say, for example, 40 pixels. Oops, 40 pixels, right? And then actually says wait, what's wrong with you? Why are you mad at me? 40? Okay, 40. And then, but then we actually have it displayed, like, say, for example, 4, right? And then div, right? And then we can copy and paste this for however many lines we want, right? So let's do, like, I don't know, 6 or something. Is that 6? Yeah, that's 6. And then we can do, for example, 80 pixels, right? And have this say 8, right? And then maybe 150 pixels. And then have this be, 15. Maybe 160 pixels, and then this says 16, and then 20. Okay, so let's try running this and seeing how that works. Okay, cool. So essentially what we did is we defined a chart in the style here, and obviously we defined the font, we chose a background color, and then we can change this to anything. We can be like this blue violet, for example, if that suits our fancy, right? And then text line, we can do right, we can do left, any of these things. But essentially what we did is we created a chart, and then within our own style sheet we specified what is this chart going to look like, right? And then using div style, we were able to create each of these individual bars, right? And then we were able to specify, okay, well, I want the width here to be 40 pixels, right? So create me something with 40 pixels, and then specify that the text here is going to be, blah blah blah, right? So 4 in this case. Each of these I normally just took the pixels divided by 10, right? So here we can have, I don't know, 1,000 pixels and have the number be 100, right? And that would look very weird, but it works. Alright, so let's move on to my final example. And so something I thought would be really cool is, what if, since this is JavaScript, I want to do something that was interactive, right? Something that you can play around with a bit. And so let's try playing around with that. Let's see how that goes. So we're gonna go with maybe get rid of all this stuff first. Actually, it's just gonna be cluttery. I'll get rid of this guy as well. Okay, and let's create a div and call it let's call it ID is equal to, I don't know, visualization. Okay, hopefully I spelled that correctly. And then what we're gonna do in body is we're gonna specify script tag, right? And we're gonna type our D3 JavaScript directly into the script. And we're gonna say, maybe say type is equal to, you need to specify, I don't think you have to though. Okay. And then you can type something like, var svg is equal to D3. We're gonna access the D3 library and select our ID here, right? And if you remember from jQuery and other libraries, this is what we do. And then we say, okay, well, I want to access, I want to create an SVG, right? So that's essentially what we're doing right now. We're first going to, in order to create our circle, we first need to create an SVG, and then give a direction on how to create that circle, right? So first, properties of SVG, maybe we say, dot append, just tell it that it's SVG first. That's always smart. Give it an attribute, so we're going to give this attribute like a 100, and then dot attribute, and then 100, right? And right now, if we go over to our Chrome and we look it up and say, well, what's it look like, right? Obviously, there's nothing because we haven't drawn anything yet. We've just allotted space for this SVG, but we haven't really done anything yet. So let's then say, okay, well, svg.append, and we're going to give it a circle, okay? And then we're gonna say dot style. We're gonna tell it, draw the circle. Which, if you remember from my class's lecture on Canvas, strokes is very important. And so we're gonna draw the circle, and we're gonna draw it, I don't know, red maybe, for example, right? Dot style, right? We're gonna fill it with white, right? So it's gonna be hopefully be a red circle with a white outline. And this is mad at me because, okay. And then we're gonna change the attribute, tell him that R is maybe 40, for example. Dot attribute CX is maybe 50, and then dot attribute CY. Right, and so hopefully this draws us our Well. Maybe we change this like gray. I don't know what's going on. Give me a second, please. Maybe I don't like this title. I might not like this title, so just let me turn that off. Sample SVG, right? And then sample SVG. Excuse me. Guess we're having a little bit of technical difficulties right now. What's the console saying? Nope, nothing. What is this circle? Huh. Maybe we fill this in. Maybe we're just having trouble seeing it. Oh, wow. Okay, so I guess it was there the entire time and just didn't see it. That was my bad. Alright, so, let's keep moving then. And then let's say, maybe if you give it, you mouse over it. Let's see, over, right? We want to have a function. And then from this function, this function is going to be d3.select this current item dot style, right? And I'm going to fill it with, I don't know, what's another color? What are my options? Wait, hold on, color. No. Well, let's fill it with, let's look up a random color. Hold on. So let's fill it with Alex Blue. That's going to be the color today. And then we're going to say when you dot, and then we're going to say, when you get off, when you mouse off, out, we're going to say function, d3.select this dot style, and then we're going to fill it with, what color do we choose? Black? Yeah, we're going to go black. So, I think I'm missing a few. Semicolons, so hopefully they don't, nice. So yeah, as you can see, purple maybe? Let me see what this looks like. Yeah, cool. So as you can see, today what we did with D3 is we created a visualization. This is a circle that that whenever we hover over this circle, it changes colors, right? So, I mean, you can do a lot of things with D3. Obviously, today we saw that you can make a bar graph, and then you can do this. But essentially, I want to show you this because I want to show you essentially properties of JavaScript. So that's actually the end of today's tutorial. I hope you had fun. Hope you learned a bit. And if you want to see more, I have a little bit more comprehensive example for this circle on my GitHub. But unfortunately, we don't have time today. So hope you enjoyed it, and have a great day. Thanks.